Shalom, people. This is Brother Laos coming at you with another video, and it's the last night here in Savannah, Georgia. Um, Here at the hotel, we just came from my wife's family. Uh, Saying our goodbyes and everything. I was glad to be able to get her down here to see her family, and just want to say that this thing of who we are and our customs and language and all this things that we rightfully so are inquiring about, because like it has been said about this weakening for hundreds and hundreds of years. Things about us and about our history have been hidden, even really before the transatlantic slave trade. Some of the things about who we are got lost as we were being dispersed or being taken into captivity. A lot of things were lost to us. But the important thing that we must remember, that when we were in the land, a lot of stuff that we were doing was not pleasing to the Most High Yah. So we must be very leery of trying to recapture something that might have caused us to get kicked out of the land in the first place. And let's say even dealing with the Passover. And I think I talked about this before, that you can find an instance in it's either Chronicles of Kings, or it might have been the book of First or Second Kings, where it talks about Hezekiah them celebrating the Passover, and they said it was like it had been a long time since the Passover had been celebrated like that, since the time of King David. So going very back to the very beginnings of the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes, before they or really after they divided amongst each other, you had the northern kingdom that had just went straight into straight Baal worship with the golden calves in Samaria. And then you had Judah, which was still trying to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, but it was intermingled with paganism. So that started romanticizing this thing and getting upset with people when you're talking about we need to go back to the ways of the ancestors, when the ways of the ancestors, especially around the time of the transatlantic slave trade, a lot of the things that they were doing was intermingled with all kinds of paganism. And that's not even talk about even the language, that as our people intermingle with the Egyptians, the Phoenicians, Canaanites, that yes, I've heard people bring out studies talking about the word Yah being a name for a Canaanite deity, or the word El, or any of these other things. But that would you understand that as these people mingle with other races, they intermarried or whatever, and just like lingo and stuff gets swapped and put together like our Ebonics, that there hasn't been a pure quote unquote language for a very long time. And although we should, like you said, try to keep it close to the original that you can, that original is still going to be tainted some kind of way. So for all those that are going into these different iterations of what language is true, the Bantu or whatever, I would say to those in Central Africa that are using the word Nzambi, that's definitely, to me, probably something that definitely could have some elements of Hebrew in it, but that I think would probably be definitely doused with a lot of other people's languages dealing with their gods. But then when you look at the word Jesus, when you look at the word Jesus, which it was before this, or Isis, which it was before, and Yah, all of these got some elements of paganism in it. That's why he said that the time is going to come, he's going to give us a pure language. And even like the word, he said, you ain't going to call me Beli, you're going to call me Ishi. So do we call Yah Ishi? See, I was up last night, or rather this morning, praying and just, pouring myself out to the Most High, because of there's some things, eternal things that, sometimes we think about our past and regrets and where we at. But one of the things that I heard Yah saying to me was, when it's all said and done with the language, the customs, and all these things, he's looking at the intent of our heart. Just like when some of us was in Christianity, when, he was looking at the intent of our heart. Because let's just say if you had the whole language down pat, that Yah just would bring some scrolls, open up a portal in heaven and drop the scrolls right in your lap. And he would send an angel to instruct you on how to speak the pure Hebrew language. He would bring an angel to show you how to do the customs the right way, all of this stuff, right? Let's say he would do all that, right? But then he said, okay, all of this, right, it won't be any good unless it's guided by the Spirit, right? And the only way it's going to be guided by the Spirit is that you're born again, and you got to be a believer in my son Yeshua, because he'll lead and guide you into all truth through the Holy Spirit that's going to come. And you rejected it. It will all be worthless to you. But the scenario that I just mentioned to you is what our people did when Yeshua was here on earth. They did have Aramaic out there. A lot of them were speaking, and a lot of them were speaking Koine Greek, but a lot of them did understand the Hebrew as much as it could be, what was left of it coming out of Babylon. But their rejection of Yeshua, right, that's why they got kicked off into slavery. It wasn't because they didn't have a pure language. It wasn't because they wasn't following the law, statutes, and commandments. They were, but they had added stuff to it too, right? And with or without the added stuff, all of that, even if they had kept the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly, it still wouldn't have been able to wash their sins away. So the main thing we got to understand is we don't need to be guided by the law, statutes, and commandments. We need to be guided by the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit will lead you into all truth. A lot of people got different, mentalities of what words are legal, what words are not, what clothing is legal, what is not. I'm telling all those that here on my channel that the law is not going to save you. It's just going to probably but understanding it will help you to become more in tune to how Yah wanted us as a nation to live. But understand this, just like in America, you have the Constitution and all these different things. No one in this nation follows the U.S. Constitution and their state laws perfectly to a T, but they're still a citizen of that state, that nation, right? Now, there's certain laws that if you break them, that you will be penalized much more severely than if you would, say, jaywalking, right? So I think when you're looking at Leviticus and Numbers and all these things, you got to think of it like that. We know that those 10 are not going nowhere. Those are the ones that he wrote in stone. And if you look throughout Leviticus, Exodus, and all those, you'll see where there are topical breakdowns of those 10, and then surrounding those 10 go off into your duty as a civic citizen. But you even see where he said if you mistakenly killed someone's cow, that's part of the law. But if you did that, you wouldn't be killed. He said you would be penalized. But it is certain things, like he said, if you kill somebody, he said it's going to be an eye for an eye. Now we know coming to Yeshua that because Yeshua came to bring life, when it dealt with your one-on-one with someone, it wasn't to. We look at it that Yeshua was coming up with something new about not to do eye for eye. But what he was saying was, let's go back to the intent of the law. If somebody hit your eye out or your tooth out, you wasn't supposed to, even under the law, go and take vengeance on your own. You were supposed to go to the town council, the high priest, and then let them judge between what was going on. They were supposed to meet out. So he wasn't saying that was wrong. What he was saying was when you took it into your own hands and meet it out without going to a judge or arbiter. And that's what our people was doing. So we have to be able to rightly divide what he is saying. Because then when we go into this no death penalty and all these things, then we're taken away from what the law says. Because he made everything that Yeshua came, he said in the volume of the book I Am Come, he was coming to show them what was already there and how to interpret it, right? So that's all I had to say. Everyone is definitely getting hype about Kanye West and Kyrie Irving and many others that's getting a lot, and Ron Dalton getting a lot of people excited about the possibility that we definitely could be the descendants of those that were of the 12 tribes, and that people are basically, they getting ready to go through what many of us that have been trying to understand or walk in this thing for a long time. Some people are pulling unto themselves, drawing off into themselves disciples, and they're going to do a bang up job. They're going to do some damage to some people's spirits and souls, and Yah forbid for some of those people that's going to take people that have a solid rock faith in Yeshua and try to mess with that foundation. I feel sorry for you, because they're like a babe. And he said it would be better for you that you had a millstone tied to your neck and he was casting the seed to mess with one of his little ones. So I would just say, be careful out there, right? Any of you that's watching this video, that's studying this faith system, because like I said, this doesn't save you. Yeshua, faith in the work that he did on the stake is what is going to save you. Faith in that, not understanding that, because I don't know Paleo or the modern Yiddish Hebrew. I don't know either one. I can read the individual little letters and stuff on there, but if you look at the arguments between that and that, I would just say, if you're a person that's in the Congo right now and you've been calling on Nzambi and you know your faith is strong in that word, keep using the word Nzambi. But if you one that's been using the word Yeshua, or you one that's using the word Jesus, please be guided by the Spirit of Yah. I use the word Yeshua or Yahushua. I use those, and I can use Jesus, but I choose to use those because I want to. It's to me, it's a mental thing to try to block out some of the bad teachings and different things that we were taught, right, about different things, and so that's for me. But some of you coming in, right, and you're going to choose to keep using the word Jesus. Just remember, like I said, straight across the board, I believe that Jesus, Yeshua, Nzambi, Ahaya, all of it's got pagan elements, right? Because our people have not been separate and isolated like Father Yahuwah told us. And we got a lot of admixture. Just do not think that our men and our women intermingled with and gave birth to mixed breed children of Egyptian, Canaanite, Cushite, Assyrian, Babylonian, and that they didn't also get an admixture of the language, just like Aramaic coming out of Babylon. It's totally impossible, but Yah understand that. Now, did he not say he hated the admixture, but yet when those disciples and all those were speaking Aramaic, they still was his disciples, right? So with that, I'm going to end this video. And I'm going to say I want you to give this video a thumbs up. I want you to subscribe. I want you to leave a comment. And if you're not born again, if your faith is not in Yeshua and his finished work on the stake, or as some call it, the cross, then you need to do that. You need to go to Romans 10 and 9, because time is winding up. And with that, I'm going to say, be blessed.